actually knew this when I was a Sangguniang Kabataan official in our barangay. I was actually handling the Committee on Health. So one of my projects is to make sure to be able to conduct HIV/AIDS programs. So during that time, may mga teens kami na-invite, but it's not really my plan to really go on testing. So just to make sure that everybody wants to go or to submit themselves on testing, so I volunteer myself to have it tested. So after that, we're actually 21 mixed. There are female, there are also MSM or male having sex with male. There are also freelance sex worker, but I did not really expect na among them, I am the only one who got positive. So it was really shocking because when I knew the result, nag-flashback lahat. So it always reminds me what are my lifestyle before I knew about this. So the usual teenage life, I go to party, I tend to look for hookups every night. After I knew that, I tend to think who among those people or who among those guys who I slept with, but somehow it really reminds me always that since I have this, so I have to be responsible. May times na nagre-regret kasi sabihin man natin totoo or hindi, I can really feel na may restriction na talaga when it comes to activities. Especially before I was really into party, but now I have to be home early. I have to control myself when it comes to alcohol because of the medication that I have and the possibility that I can get as well. Regret kasi if I don't have this, I could really still have the same life before, which is just go party and you only live once, kumbaga. I have a goal in my life, at least after 10 years that I have this, because as I flash back from now and until the past, I think I was able to not just help myself but other people, young people as well, to educate and increase their knowledge about HIV. At least after 10 years, that might be the great thing that I wanted to achieve, to at least inform not just my family or not just my parents, but the whole community as well.
Welcome to Dynamic Living the Total You. We are very much honored to be here in ARC Hospitals in Mactan, Cebu, or in Allegiant Regional Care Hospitals. We have a very sensitive but urgent message for our viewers. That is why we are going to discuss this afternoon living with HIV. We know for a fact that there is a rising number of cases, not just in the Visayas region, but throughout the Philippines. And we'd like to understand, based on our discussion with our guests here, what is happening, what we can do, how we can be able to help these people with HIV. I'd like to welcome to the show, first of all, I have here Dr. Ilya Abellanoza, who is a venereologist. Yes, magandang araw po sa inyo. And then I have also Dr. Van Philip Baton, HIV representative from the Department of Health. Dr. Philip. I have Dr. Deborah Katulong, HIV physician from Mandaue Primary HIV Care Facility. Magandang araw sa inyong tatlo. So napansin po natin na alam natin na yung inyong specializations as of the moment, no, ang inyong pinagkakaabalahan ay itong HIV/AIDS. Why is there a rising number of cases? Paano kaya? Anong nangyayari sa atin? Who would like to come in first?
Siguro one of the reasons primarily that we have an increasing cases is I think there is an increasing awareness of our the youth and those that are especially vulnerable to HIV. I think as we have seen with our cases, we still are very far from getting all of those who are diagnosed. Like for our cases, supposedly in our target for UNAIDS to eliminate HIV and AIDS by 2030, we need to get 90% of those that were estimated to have HIV. But as of now, nationally, medyo nasa mga less than 80% pa tayo sa ating target. So I think that's one of the reason. And also, we still are lagging behind the years where we haven't gotten all that were diagnosed on those previous years. So that's one of the reasons that we're increasing. So more of awareness for testing, accessibility for testing. More people are getting to know where they get tested. And also, one of the reasons I think is there's still an ongoing infection, especially for a younger population, less than the less than 24, 15 to 24 years old, which are increasing trend. So, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na these are old cases, but these are new cases because based
Pero
on
di ba,
data.
Doc, Philip, mas nakakatakot pag sinabi nating new cases over the old cases.
Yes,
Pero
yes.
babalikan ko bago natin ituloy ang old at saka new cases. Paano natin sila ililabel kung bakit old or new sila? I want to target on what you said that in 2030, there is supposed to be an eradication or an elimination. That's the WHO talking. But is it feasible or viable, Doktora? Sa tingin mo kaya?
I don't think at this moment it could be feasible because starting pa kasi tayo na nagtitest. Oo. We are still expanding our reach for HIV testing. So we expect more cases to be identified.
So yung 2030 na yan, mukhang teka lang. Kasi di ba, magto-2020 na tayo. So that's 11 years actually or 10 years and a few more months to go bago mag-ano tayo, di ba? So parang teka lang, medyo ambitious, no? Na goal. Yes, Doktora, kayo po.
We need to do a lot of things actually to disseminate the information that you need to get tested if you are practicing risky behaviors. And at the same time, also disseminate that we have a lot of facilities actually right now who are trained, which are trained, both private facilities, government facilities, no, which provides free HIV testing. So we need to encourage really them to come to us to get tested.
So gusto kong sundan yung sinabi ni Doktora na heto free, no? Libre ang pagpapatest. And yet despite the offer of a free there, how are we in terms of people coming into the clinics? Kasi kayo, magkakaibang clinics ang meron kayo, di po ba? So meron tayo sa DOH, meron naman din tayo sa Mandaue, meron naman tayo yung kumbaga sa private, no? So how are we in terms of response knowing na libre na nga darating ba sila?
Actually, in our clinic, we have a lot of walk-in clients. They heard it from multimedia, online, and they come for HIV testing. And I'm glad because before, when they ask for HIV testing, they have to say, where are we going to have the test? But now they can, pabulong pa. But now even in the information area, they will say, where can we get HIV test? So at least they are now open, and they know that if they have themselves tested, they are responsible. Yeah.
Maganda yun Yun, actually, that's the Department of Health's drive, no? Para bang dapat yun yung pangkalahatan nating target na, kumbaga, lahat ng tao, maging aware sila na when they go for a test, does not necessarily mean an admittance of a risky behavior. Diba? Parang, sa'yo, Doktora, ano kaya sa palagay mo?
When you inform them about the free HIV testing and motivate them for tests, it's not just about just informing them. You also have to motivate them. Okay, it takes a lot of courage actually to go to the facilities. Well, at the same time, kami na mga providers, service providers, we try as much as possible really to make ourselves really very client friendly because it's one of the factors actually when you see that as soon as you enter the facility, the people there are really very open, very welcoming, and observes confidentiality. It's one of the things that really encourages them to come to the facility.
Totoo yan. Kailangan yung bang pakiwari nila na hindi sila huhusgahan para ba ang feeling nila pagpasok nila, I'm just an ordinary patient who would like to have a CBC. Di ba? Pagka nagpapa-complete blood count ka, nagpapa-urinalysis ka, open naman yun So pag sinabi mo ako, gusto kong magpa-HIV test, there should be no connotation attached to it. And tayo, dapat disiplinado yung mga tao natin sa facility. And are you doing that?
Yes. We have really special trainings for the service providers in these facilities. We make sure that as soon as the patient comes in or anybody who wants to get tested, it's a very welcoming attitude, non-judgmental attitude. And then we also have people like, because we deal with very specific populations, we make sure that these are represented also in the facility. Like if we talk about people who inject drugs, we also have counselors, motivators inside the facility who also inject drugs, so they can understand each other. And people coming from this special population can easily relate if they see somebody na, oh, I know him. He's also a injecting drug user or is also a transgender. So this helps a lot in really encouraging them to come to the facility.
Yes, I think that's one of the issues, no, na dapat there's already a paradigm shift. I would remember 10, 20 years ago. I remember 10 years ago or 12 years ago, we featured HIV also at the very beginning when the ART was not yet, available and free. And I remember we did it in Sakol, in San Lazaro, and we get to see a lot of patients there. But then you see, there's a change now, a paradigm shift wherein dati patago pa pagpupunta ng laboratory magpapatest. Ngayon makikita mo, open na sila, na pumunta sila. Let me talk about Dr. Philip, what you said, na cases, old and new cases. Maybe we should also educate our viewers, what are this? And paano mo malilabel na old at paano siya masasabi na new case siya?
No? So, as I mentioned, may old at new cases tayo. The only way we can know if they are old or new cases is by the level of their CD4 count. No, indirectly measuring their CD4 count. The CD4 count stands for the immune system. No, indirectly measuring the immune system. So when they come in, pumasok sila na mababa ng CD4 count nila or less than 200, we assume that the infection has been there for quite a time. No, because it's the natural course of the disease. Ang natural na proseso ng HIV is that at 10 years, no, that's the time where you see a significant decrease ng pagbaba talaga ng CD4 count mo. So
kasi normally, yung CD4 natin should be greater than 200, di ba?
Yes.
Oo, yun yung
But then usually, if during the course of the infection also, once the virus enters the body, there would be a drop. Because the virus would multiply and the CD4 would go down. Then it stabilizes and it will go up again. So even if it's an acute phase, we can still see a low CD4.
No?
In the acute phase, no?
In the acute phase of the disease.
Sige, tuloy mo, Doc.
Ang nakikita kasi natin ngayon is that on average of all the cases we have seen, the CD4 is still very low at less than 200. So as mentioned by Doc Ilya, it can mean it's an acute phase. But based on our symptomatology, no, we are still actually seeing a lot of cases that are still quite advanced with OIs like TB, no, which is very common to cases.
Sige, bago ko sundan yung TB, na-excite ako sa pag-uusap natin dito kasi very interesting nga siya. Balikan ko muna, so yung old case mo, if you talk about acute and old cases, would you say na mas marami ngayon ang acute cases natin or mas marami pa rin yung old cases natin?
If we're seeing the average of CD4, medyo mahirap siyang tingnan kung ano yung proportion ng old at new cases because as mentioned, self-reporting kasi yung HIV. We don't have a marker when it happened. So if the patient tells na ang last sex niya is nandito na year, so we assume that that's the time of infection, although it could have been earlier. No?
Yes.
So that's the difficulty with HIV. Although indirectly we can see sa CD4 or sa symptomatology ng pasyente o ano yung mga sintomas niya, we can assume na medyo baka matagal na tong case na to. So that's the peculiarity of HIV because it has a 10 years.
10 years,
10 years
so
yung ano niya, matagal
so, ibig
medyo
sabihin,
siya.
yun yung gusto nating i-inform sa ating mga tagapagpanood na yung HIV is a prolonged, chronic disease. It's not something na, unlike other diseases, even cancer, na mabilisan siya. Heto, it takes years, maybe, before you even manifest it.
That's why we rely more on the behavior. So if you have risky behavior, there's a chance that you will get the infection, then have yourself tested. No? Don't wait for the signs and symptoms.
Kasi minsan ang iniisip nila, baka wala. Diba? Despite the fact, the knowledge na they are involved in risky behaviors, diba? Pero heto ngayon, hetong AIDS na ito or HIV, let's try to define. Kasi minsan nagkakagulo pa rin sa isipan ng mga tagapagpanood na, pag may HIV ako, talagang mamamatay na ako. Heto bang AIDS, ano ito? As if doing something or what? Sige nga, Dr.
When you say you are infected, HIV positive, that means you actually have the virus, but it doesn't mean that you already have AIDS. It will take years before you develop AIDS. That is, if you develop AIDS, because if you're taking the drugs religiously, you delay the progression of the disease to AIDS. So it doesn't mean that, I'm infected, I have the virus. It doesn't mean I have already had AIDS.
So there's a possibility na yung tao na nag-positive siya, nag-reactive upon testing, no? Pero let's talk about the tests muna. Kasi syempre, bago tayo mag-proceed further, parang, teka lang, nagpa-test ako, sabi sa akin, reactive ako. Will that single test really tell me as a patient na I have it? O kaya naman, is it possible na, etong test na to, kailangan ng confirmation. Kasi kailangan i-elevate para malaman kung tama or mali. Who
Yes,
would
no?
answer?
Tama, no? For HIV testing, we're doing indirect testing, no? So we're measuring not the virus, but the antibody present, no? O reaction ng katawan mo sa presence ng virus. So, correct, no? It still needs confirmation because indirectly we're measuring. So, kung ano mang yung antibodies na minimeasure natin, baka there might be other reason for that. So, once the patient comes in, nag-positive siya or nag-reactive siya for the HIV screening, which is para lang pregnancy test, no? You get 2 lines if you're positive, no? 1 line if you're non-reactive.
Problema mo dyan, pagka-gray area.
Yeah.
medyo, teka lang.
Hindi klaro.
Positive ba to o negative ba to?
Actually, even with the very faint 2 lines, no, we still consider it as non-reactive because we have a lot of cases, marami tayong nakikitang cases na the second line is quite faint, but when we do the SACO confirmatory, they do become
positive,
reactive.
yes.
No? Yeah, they do become positive. So, yun yung sinasabi natin na although it needs confirmatory, most of the cases we have, even the faint testing, already are becoming confirmed to have HIV. So, yun yung difference lang. The screening is just an entryway for you to know if you might have it, but we still have the confirmatory to see if you're positive.
But then we have to consider, Doktora, di ba, na kahit na mag-non-reactive siya, risky behavior siya, hindi siya dapat kampante. So ano ang dapat niyang gawin? Kung kunyari, pumunta siya sa inyo, nagpa-examine sa laboratorio, sinabi non-reactive, pero at the back of his mind, I know na I am indulging in risky behavior, non-reactive ako. Should it lull me to complacency na wala ako noon?
Actually, before they get tested, they have to have the pre-test and then the post-test. So if they turn out negative, we have to consider the window period because maybe it's too early yet. So we ask them to come back, especially if we ask them, when was your last sexual intercourse or sexual behavior? Then we will tell them to come back 6 weeks after.
6 weeks after.
6 weeks after, yeah.
So, ito na, pupuntahan natin. So, kunyari, pinakonfirm na natin, nag-reactive nga siya. So, ano yung pwedeng gawin ng pasyente na pagbalik niya, may reactive result na siya? Ano nang next ninyo?
Yung as soon as yung screening test, we have the screening test, no? There's the post-test counseling. And then we send the blood samples for confirmatory testing. If the patient comes back, if the results comes back na positive na talaga siya, the patient goes through the counseling process again, and we encourage them, we start talking about the treatment for the patient.
Yes, because treatment is available, di ba?
Yes.
But before we talk about the treatment, let's go back to what you said kanina, na pagka-positive ka kasi, when you have HIV, ang probability kasi na you have other diseases, mas mataas, di ba? Di ba may studies ngayon na resistant strains of tuberculosis, kapag meron ka noon, kailangan i-test ka for HIV. Kapag HIV positive ka, kailangan i-test ka for TB, di ba? Yes.
Actually, no, we have a lot of cases that actually sa STIs pa lang, no. When you have STI, it is encouraged for you to get HIV because they have the same mode of transmission. But as mentioned, the TB, especially if you're positive for TB and you're young and you have a risky behavior, you're strongly encouraged to have counseling and testing already because TB is the most common opportunistic infection or nangyayari siya pag mababa na yung immune system. But we're not saying that if you're positive for TB, you have HIV, but it's the common opportunistic infection that we have in the Philippines. Also, yun sa STI natin, if you have chlamydia or gonorrhea or yung common tulo, no? That already could tell you na, baka may same mode of transmission. Also for hepatitis C, no? Hepatitis C, especially for people who inject drug here in Cebu, common din yung mode of transmission nila na sharing of infected needles. So these diseases would tell us now there is risky behavior present. So we encourage testing, screening first, and then we test them, and then they would go through the process once they become reactive or positive. No?
Yes. I'd like to add, we were talking about the risky behaviors because we have patients actually who were partners of patients who were practicing risky behavior. So it's not all the time na pwedeng monogamous ka, like monogamous ka.
Parang sila collateral damage.
Oo, parang ganon. So it's always best to ask also the patient na, is your partner also practicing risky behaviors? Kasi pag practicing yung partner, then monogamous yung patient, halimbawa, then pwede rin siyang mahawa kasi like we have cases now na mag-asawa or mag-boyfriend girlfriend, but the index patient was positive and the one practicing risky behaviors, but the partner of that index patient is wala siyang, hindi siya risky, nagkataon lang na yung partner niya talaga
kaya
yung
na-transmit sa kanya.
na-transmit sa
Which we will
kanya.
discuss when we return kasi we want to know also the law. Na for example, ako, I am in a risky behavior. May mga nahawa ako. Kunyari, I'm in the sex trade. Kunyari lang. And then, nahawa, and nahawaan mo yung iba, hindi mo naman alam na nakahawa ka na. And what are you going to do about it? How are you going to trace all of these people na you have been in contact with? We'll take a very short break and when we return, we'll continue on with our very interesting talk here about HIV, living with HIV. Please stay tuned to Hope Channel.
Did you still, hook up with other people
Yes.
when you were positive already?
It really takes time to change when it comes to lifestyle, like a baby step. So it really takes me time to really stop partying, because honestly, I actually undergone depression as well. When it comes to awareness about HIV, it's really high. But somehow the stigma, the discrimination is still there.
What do you think is discrimination?
When it comes to sexuality, they might just gonna say, because you are gay or because you're bi, yung parang you deserve it. It's really hard still to think na people will always associate HIV to those part of the LGBT community.
Welcome back to Dynamic Living the Total You with our episode Living with HIV. And ang aming mga tagapagpanood, kami po ay nandito sa Allegiant Regional Care Hospitals, ARC Hospitals in Mactan, Cebu. And nandito ang aking mga guests, si Dr. Ilya, si Dr. Philip, and Dr. Debra. So balikan ko kayo, no? So kanina medyo maganda yung ating usapan, no? We were talking about people, their index partner and those who are innocent, who do not really know and they don't even understand anong nangyayari, no? So how do we go about it? Like, have you seen cases wherein bigla na lang iiyak sa inyo pagdating sa clinic kasi, Dok, wala naman, hindi ko naman alam bakit naging ganito?
We usually see that in our pregnant women because we are having the universal screening, the opt-out. We offer the HIV testing and it's up to them if they submit or they opt out. So in Cebu City, since we started in 2010, we have more than 70 clients and 67% of them are non-practicing risky behavior.
And yet
So
they get
they
positive.
get infection. So
Pero di ba, doktora, napakasaklap noon kasi alam mo naman na yung bata paglabas,
that's why it's a success story, no? Na because once they are diagnosed with HIV and they start taking the medication, so far for those pregnant women who have taken the medication, all delivered HIV negative babies.
wow, amazing. So these are success stories. So yan pa lang dapat maka-encourage na sa ating mga kababayan, ano? Because we are not just talking about a very small population. We're talking about the entire Philippines. Kasi 'di ba, sinabi ko nga Dr. Philip kanina, 'di ba, na itong rising number of HIV cases, HIV cases pa lang, it's not just limited to one region. It's actually national. You tell us about it.
Actually, we're all over the regions, sa lahat ng regions natin, all are increasing cases. Wala pa tayong region na nag-stagnate ng number of cases. No, so, that in itself tells us that there's an ongoing infection, no? Transmission of infection. Also, as mentioned by Dr. Ilya, no, the female population talaga is quite medyo nawawala siya. It's placed the back burner because we're still focused more on the MSM, although 97% of our cases do come from the male population, so disproportionately siya. But when you look at the female, no, although they could be just 3%, the age group that they are in, less than 34 years old, they quite are in the fertile stage pa. So that the chances that they become positive, even if they are low risk, but they have high risk partners, tapos they do get infected and they don't know their status, the chances of them transmitting to their babies either through pagpapanganak or through breastfeeding also goes up. No? So that's actually quite heartbreaking for us to see. No? Although when you look at it, masyado pang mababa yung female natin, but we can't afford to miss out on our female population. So one of the strategies we have is universal screening. No, all pregnant mothers should be offered during antenatal care
Kasi,
HIV screening.
alam mo, pagka prenatal kasi, especially on their first visit to the obstetricians, for a pregnant woman, di ba? Alam naman natin, kasama ng hepatitis B, di ba? Nung araw, naalala ko nung araw parang ayaw nila magpa-test ng hepatitis B. Ang kanila lang is ABORH typing, hemoglobin hematocrit, urinalysis, no? And then eventually, in-introduce pati ang hepatitis B. Kasi mamaya pag nanganak, hepatitis B positive, yung doktor na nagpaanak, hindi niya alam pala na positive si mommy. Eh di siya, madadamay siya, di ba? So ngayon, sinundan natin ng syphilis, sinali na natin. Di ba kasama na doktora ang syphilis? So pati ba ang HIV ngayon, sinasali na natin?
Sinasali na siya actually. We offer testing for syphilis, hepatitis B, and HIV tests for all pregnant women.
So, irregardless, no? Whether risky behavior, whether they're an ordinary na kumbaga conscience-free, talagang monogamous and everything, no? So, yun yung niya. So, yan yung ginagawa na natin, doktora. And by chance, how many % of all those na you have encountered with na-test natin ng mga mommies nito magpa-positive?
It's still less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%
At least,
pa rin.
less than 1%. Pero we would not want to be complacent. That's why we want them to be tested, no? Kasi hindi naman ibig sabihin na less than 1%, kampante na tayo. No? So balikan natin, what are actually the risk factors? Kasi syempre yung iba kung kabubukas ng television nila, nag-uusap sila ng HIV. Ano ba talaga yan? Ano ba yung sakit na yan? And how do I get it?
Pwedeng, there are different modes of transmission. Yung pinakauna is yung unprotected sexual intercourse or with an infected partner. Number 2 is pwede mo siya makuha through blood, like either blood transfusions or among people who inject drugs through sharing of needles with an infected partner. And number 3, pwede siyang mother-to-child transmission either through, while the baby is still inside the womb, during delivery, or through breastfeeding.
So, ibig sabihin, sa breast milk, pwede niya makuha yon, ano? Yes. Kasi yun yung natin dito Pero balikan ko, heto bang sinasabi natin, ART, heto yung ating gamot ngayon which is it free?
Yes, no, our ART, fortunate for the Philippines, no, we're offering a majority of our treatment for free, no, from screening to testing to treatment, no?
And kagaling naman,
it's even covered by PhilHealth, no?
It's covered by PhilHealth.
So, for covered by PhilHealth, no, they get 30,000, that's 7.5 per quarter. The people living with HIV enrolled to PhilHealth can actually get this service to cover their services like laboratories, no, certain OI meds, no. So, free yung testing, free yung treatment, but the sad part is we still are getting less than 90% on treatment, no. For Region 7 of the 5,900 we have diagnosed, we only have around 2,400 on treatment. So less than, no? less than half. Yes, less than half.
Bakit kaya, no? O ba kaya naman, sinusundan natin yung sinasabi nga, anything that is free loses its value. Di ba? Anything that is free loses its value.
Correct.
Diba?
Actually, we're seeing that right now, no? Because for our PWD lang, no, people who inject drug, they actually delay treatment because they know it's for free, no? Later na ako pag medyo may problema, no? Kasi libre naman yan. It does not go away, no? And we're seeing with hepatitis C.
It's also a Filipino culture that if you don't feel anything, you don't want to take medication.
Parang ganun na nga na wala naman ako nararamdaman, no? Pero let's educate our viewers na kahit na wala kang nararamdaman, yung virus, yung multiplication sa katawan mo goes on and on. Sige nga, doktora.
Kaya yung program talaga ng Department of Health is early detection and early treatment. So once they are diagnosed, we offer right away treatment. Before, we have to delay once they go the CD4 go down. But now, we offer HIV treatment, treat all.
Even if the CD4 is down,
it's still high.
It's still high, they still go through the treatment.
So we are now in treat all.
So mas maganda yon. Pero heto bang ART natin available in all centers o kaya naman meron lang tayong mga HIV hubs na doon sila dapat pumunta?
Meron tayong tinatawag na mga treatment hubs. These are mga designated, Department of Health designated hospitals. Like for example, we have Vicente Soto. We have the Talisay District Hospital, no? And
dito sa Mandaue tayo.
Sa Mandaue, wala yung Eversley Hospital. And then we also have yung mga tinatawag namin primary HIV care facilities. These are usually the social hygiene clinics na trained on to manage HIV cases.
So Cebu and Mandaue
City and
meron kayo.
meron
facilities.
facilities.
So, ibig sabihin, kung kumbaga, hindi naman siya malayo puntahan. So if you live in this particular area, meron naman pala. You don't really have to travel all the way for it. No? And remember, the ART, if you're going to pay for it, that's expensive.
Very expensive.
Kaya I remember 12-15 years ago, nung sinisimulan pa lang yan yung ART na yan, it was really difficult because only the rich can manage to buy it. Pero now, it's being made available to everybody and for free pa talaga. Yung treatment na yan for life.
Yes, it's for life. It's
The
taken for
treatment is
life.
for life talaga. No? Because the virus stays within the body. So far, no, we don't have a cure for HIV, but we can treat the HIV. So by treatment, we say that we can manage it in a level that we don't get the complications of HIV, which is AIDS. No? So that's a terminal phase of HIV. So it's for free. You get it for life. But the good thing with the ART right now is before kasi ang dami mong iinumin na pills Ngayon, we only take one pill, no?
Isa na lang
Yeah,
talaga.
one pill na lang siya daily. So, the cumbersomeness of taking the medicine with the side effect actually is already lessened with our current treatment. No? So,
Pero kung iisipin mo, kunyari high blood ka nga Antihypertensives, you take it twice a day Diabetic ka, you take it twice a day, di ba? Meron ikong heart problem, you take it 3 times a day. O kaya antibiotics, 3 times a day pa nga Unless you get the 750, di ba? Milligrams na once a day treatment. So kumbaga, ano pa ba ang hahanapin mo na nandyan na talaga, di ba?
We also try as much as possible to group this PLHIV, people living with HIV, na mag-form sila na parang support groups. Kasi magandang motivator yung dumadaan talaga sa ganoong sakit and they're taking the medicines because they themselves also can encourage based on their experience, they can encourage and support other people who are just starting to take the medicines na ganun talaga yan. Pero after a while, you'll grow fat and you'll grow you'll glow, mas maganda ka na, tingnan. So, parang,
mas maganda yung meron silang support system. Just like in any disease process, a support system is very important. No? Pero let's talk about complications. Kasi we've been mentioning na, heto, pagka hindi ka nagpagamot at hindi mo pina-examine ang sarili mo, ang ating greatest fear is not really you having the virus. It's the complications that will arise from it. So, how long, when they get tested and they become positive, would they expect to have the complications? Number 2, can the complications will really be the one that will pull them down? Who wants to talk?
It differs really. The original immune system would really count because if they are healthy at the start, then it will take longer. But if they are already weak, they have a lot of vices, then after 2 years, the signs and symptoms would appear or the opportunistic infections would set in. So it would differ.
actually, then, no, that's the reason why we have TB-HIV collaboration because ang pinaka-nadadali talaga sa HIV is actually TB because when we have HIV, the immune system actually is already go very very down and we still give them the usual treatment for TB, madaling magka-resistance yung TB mycobacterium natin. So that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of MDR also because we have a lot of HIV positive that were not diagnosed but were given the same treatment. So they stopped treatment on 6 months but in actuality, the mycobacterium is still there because yun nga, wala silang immune system. So that's one of the reasons why for those who are TB positive, they should be screened for HIV because the treatment also can change. We need to monitor it more closely because we don't want the MDR to come in. No? Because
kasi
problema yan.
we are in the Philippines, we are endemic for TB.
Yes.
Diba? So lahat naman tayo meron yan. I mean, let's face it, it's just in our system, it's just living there and staying there and just sleeping. Okay, diba? Waiting to be awakened when our immune system goes down. So now here you are, you have HIV and you have that bacilli there, you know, the tubercle bacilli, lalabas at lalabas siya
That's why we have the TB-HIV collaboration. So all HIV clients should be tested for, screened for TB, and all TB clients should be screened for HIV.
So either way, no, pwede siyang ano. Pero ang ating mga kabataan, you know, after all of this, at the end of the day, what are we doing as a society? Kasi community problem siya Hindi naman siya solo na, iyo yan, ganito lang yan, no? So what are we in the society or in the community doing to be able to help them out?
Sa mga youth, we try to reach them sa mga schools. Sometimes we invite ourselves. We tell the schools that we offer these kinds of awareness-raising lectures. You can invite us, that's actually for free, and offer HIV testing at the same time to very specific students, no, na hindi naman lahat. And then secondly, sa mga youth, out of school youth, meron namang mga youth groups in the barangays. We also try as much as possible to inform them and offer HIV testing at the same time. And
Pero yung mga yung mga students o kaya yung mga kabataan under 15, they will require a parental consent. You mentioned something kanina na the law has changed. Dati kasi kailangan 18 and above bago sila pwedeng i-test. Ngayon sinasabi mo na yung batas ngayon has lowered the age group.
Yeah, no. It's very fortunate that this year, no, na we have already implemented RA 11166, no, or the HIV Policy Act of 2018, no, which was signed by President Duterte on December 21, 2018. So the very big difference with the previous law that was enacted 20 years ago, RA 8504, so that it was passed in 1998. It actually lowered the age of consent for testing, no? Because before 18 years old, if you're less than 18, you need to have parental consent, and usually based on our behavior, nakita natin the parents are usually the last to know. So usually
it's not just the parents are the last to know, the parents are in denial.
Yes,
Di ba?
yes,
Hindi
I
naman
agree,
yung
I
bata ang denial, yung magulang eh.
So yun yung makikita natin na it actually is a barrier for testing, and what we are seeing right now, especially with our current cases, is that tumataas talaga this particular age group, 15 to 24 years old. It's not that big, but it's the second highest, and our highest is between 25 to 34 years old. So knowing the latency of HIV, we could say na the 10 years, actually they got it from an earlier age group, but then they got tested or diagnosed at a later age group because of that particular law na you get parental consent if you're less than 18. So with the lowering of the age of consent to 15 years old, no, we are actually expecting for the HIV to increase ang diagnosis at a younger age group. But having said that, the knowledge or the importance still of parental consent and family support still should not be less emphasized. No, na even if you are at a risky behavior, you don't need consent for your parents, you still need the family to be involved. Kaya di ba support group yung sinasabi natin?
Kasi mahirap na, alam mo, itatago mo, isusolo mo. Diba? So, yun yung magiging burden sa kanya lalo in terms of seeking help, seeking treatment. Kasi itatago niya yun
That's
sa mga
why
magulang
once they
niya.
are diagnosed, we encourage them to disclose to their parents. So
Actually, then when we were discussing the implementing rules and regulations for this particular law, no, the lowering of the age of consent from 18 to 15, no, one of the major discussion talaga is who will give support to the minor. Kasi mahirap siyang ni-remove mo yung parental consent. So the question is, who will give support to the child? No, although we have social workers that are encouraged to be part of the treatment process, when the child goes home, sino yung kakausapin niya talaga? Actually, that was a very contentious point when we were discussing for the IRR talaga na how do we ensure that the minors that are diagnosed would still be on treatment or adherent to treatment if the support is lacking from the family talaga. I think our implementers in our cities actually are very good in terms of ensuring that these people get the support group, and yun talaga yung nakita ko talaga, the support group plays a very big role, especially for this particular disease.
Lalo na mga
stigma
kabataan.
talaga
Kasi
is very
stigma,
high.
Doon naka-attach yung stigma na even siguro sa families nila, para bang andun pa rin, na mismo yung sa loob ng family. We'll continue on with this, no? Kasi ang iniisip ko, kailangan natin i-address yung stigma na yan, at dapat i-encourage natin lahat ng mga tao sa community, including the families, to be more open to it, para naman matulungan yung may sakit, di ba? We'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll continue on with our discussion here, Living with HIV. Please stay tuned to Hope Channel.
For the first time, I really thought it was just a dream. So I slept when I got home. So when I woke up, my sister is with me. Then I suddenly think I should tell her about my status. When I told her, I actually just said ate, I conducted HIV/AIDS seminar and people got tested. Somehow, unluckily, ako lang yung nag-positive. Then I really thought na hindi niya matanggap because during that time, HIV is not that really a common issue na they can just discuss within your family or even sa sister ko. So after she knows it, she just accept it directly, and I was really shocked kasi in my mindset baka mandire or baka she might not gonna accept me. But instead, she was able to encourage me and challenged me instead that I really have to be more productive, then I should let other people show, just in case some of my friends will know that I can still live a normal life and happy life. The rest of my family for 8 years, no one knows except my sister. But then I don't have the courage to let my parents know about my status. But during the time, I became more responsible when it comes to sexual practice. Way back before, when I was an ASCII official, he really looks, batas yung tingin niya sa akin. So I should be the leader, like, even our neighbors as well. They think na hindi bagang perfect because I'm into leadership program, I excel in schools, academics, but somehow possibly my feeling na they might be embarrassed because I have this. I don't want to disappoint my mother and father. Right now, because I was actually part of a support group, several lang talaga yung pinipili kong pagsabihan when it comes to my HIV status. I am also a trained counselor, so I usually conduct community-based screening HIV/AIDS. So I have this account online. Some of them always ask me more about HIV, and some of them would really ask me as well kung paano magpa-test o kung saan. So during that time, it's my opportunity to at least encourage them and educate them more to prevent having HIV in themselves as well.
Welcome back to Dynamic Living the Total You with our episode here, Living with HIV. And andito pa po ang aking mga guests, no? We have Dr. Ilya, Dr. Philip, and Dr. Deborah. So heto ngayon, tuloy natin. Pinag-usapan natin kanina yung stigma na yan. So, papaano kaya natin maibsan yan, no? Because parang ang feeling ko, and which is actually the case here, no? Na even if they get diagnosed, when they, go back to their communities, they go back to their homes, they will always feel isolated. Yes. And then para bang, pag narinig natin, which I want to ask later, what about in the workplace? Are they allowed to still work? Or is it a grounds for them to be terminated or not to be accepted?
Yung I'll talk about the stigma, yung sa bigger community, medyo mahirap yan because that will take a lot of work. But we usually start with yung immediate family kasi siya yung kasama talaga ng pasyente doon sa bahay. So, kung hindi kaya ng pasyente mag-disclose sa family, we tell them naman na we can help you, no?
So
nag-o-offer din kami na if it's difficult for you to tell your mother, just bring your mother here and we'll talk about it. So kami na ang mag-explain sa mother. Pero yung sa greater community, medyo malaking trabaho pa yun. No? So ako, I usually encourage yung immediate family members or significant others kung wala yung family.
Pero we always tell them that before you disclose, you should educate first. Because I think the main reason for stigma is really ignorance. They are afraid that they will get the infection, especially if there are children in the house. So that's why it's better to tell them how it is transmitted.
How do you, Doktora, how often or what is the percentage of those patients who are positive for HIV na they will also turn out to be positive for other STIs?
Yeah, actually we are seeing a lot of HIV positive cases among our STI clients because we are STD clinics.
Yes.
So if they come for gonorrhea or for other STIs,
syphilis,
we
or
offer HIV
herpes.
also. So we are seeing.
So parang meron talaga, no? Hindi lang yan yung parang heto iisa lang na virus, kundi parang minsan kaakibat siya nung iba din.
Because they share the same mode of transmission.
Yes,
The fact that
that's
you got STIs, most likely you also will get other infection na makukuha through sex.
And sometimes frustrating also if our HIV positive cases will have STIs.
Bakit
After
mas
they
frustrating siya?
kasi we have provided them with education.
Nagka-STI pa rin.
Nagka-STI pa rin.
Frustrating
parang hindi pa rin nadadala. Talagang parang, teka lang, andyan ka na nga, doon ka na nga. Pero would you say that poverty here, kasi idugtong ko na lang yan, no? Kasi minsan nakikita natin ito sa mga estudyante.
Yes.
Di ba? Yung mga students na desirous of having an education. Students who wants a better life. And so that's why they indulge in this, di ba? Kasi it becomes a sex trade.
Yes.
So parang money is the economics here. Would you say na poverty or the lack of economic support in terms of them getting an education or getting betterment in their lives in the future na they are planning for themselves, does it play a role here?
Yeah, for me, no, it plays a role, and our data also shows
Supportive.
that transactional sex, either you pay for sex or you get paid for sex, do play a role. No? Although it's not that big as compared to those that were not engaged in transactional sex, but it still is there. No, any one mode of transmission that facilitate any one variable that facilitates transmission of infection actually is also something we need to look forward to. So palagi din natin measure natin kung ilan ba talaga sa positive natin that are engaging in transactional sex, both paying and those receiving, are getting HIV infection. No? So I think poverty plays a role in a sense that education is quite lacking. Number two is the financial. Well, masyado tayong materialistic right now, no? If you offer them either cell phone, no, in kind or in cash, no, or kahit ano lang pa, gumala lang kayo somewhere, you get offered for that just to get sex in return. It already is engaging our young people, no. And if you don't know how HIV is transmitted, it's quite easy for you to say yes. What will I lose? Especially if lalaki ka. If you're female, you assume na I might get pregnant. But for a male, it's quite difficult yung mindset nila because it's actually pleasure lang and then you get paid. So if they don't know how HIV is transmitted, they don't know how to prevent it. I think that's the mode.
That's why it's really something na they should be educated.
Yes.
Actually, education and awareness will really play a major role here. No? So let me ask about complications or side effect. Let's talk about kung wala kang gamot, you don't take the ART or you don't follow through. What would be the possible complications? Para alam din nila na, heto, tinigil ko. So these are the consequences. This is what is going to happen to me.
Actually, before they start taking the medication, we have our adherence counseling. We tell them that they should take the medication on time, regularly, then religiously. And then this what will happen if you don't take the medication. There's possibility that you will develop resistance, then your CD4 count will go down, your viral load will go high, then you will progress into AIDS, wherein you will have a lot of opportunistic infection. We tell them ahead before they start the medication.
So they would know.
Yes.
They would understand. Pero what are we going to do? I've seen cases like here in the hospital. I've seen cases wherein they got admitted, recurrent pneumonia. Recurrent pneumonia. After 2 months, they get admitted again. And then the sad thing there is they don't even reveal that they have had the test. They would not even want to be tested in the hospital setting already. They don't even tell their doctors. I've seen 2-3 cases of that when they don't even tell their attending doctor that they have this risky behavior. And yet, one time, i-share ko lang to sa atin at saka sa mga viewers natin. One time, recurring pneumonia. 3rd time na he was admitted, recurrent pneumonia. Nagka-problem kasi sa blood typing. Yung kanyang blood type, hindi mo na makita. I mean, you know how it is, immunocompromised. So, kumbaga, they required transfusion. So, iba blood type na, the blood type, sabi, type O. So, ngayon, hanap tayo ng dugo for compatibility testing na, cross-matching. Incompatible lahat. So, itong aking staff, na parang na-alert siya kasi sabi ko sa kanila, when you have problems like this is what you'll do. So step by step. So sabi, kuna nila ng dugo ulit. Kinuna ng dugo yung pasyente, type O nga naman siya. Pero nung tinest, incompatible lahat. So sabi niya ganun, Doc, pwede kong i-test ng HIV? No consent. Bawal yun, di ba? Bawal yun. So sabi kong ganun, we need to get the consent. So kinausap namin ngayon yung admitting doctor na pwede ba i-convince si patient na i-test lang kasi incomp lahat ng we were just having that inkling And true enough, it was reactive, very strongly reactive. So kita mo, and then eventually after 3-4 days of stay in the hospital, the patient died. But the thing there, the moral of the lesson is, you do not reveal it, but the thing is, the caregivers can be at risk. Kasi syempre, di ba, minsan mag-assist ka, nag-bleeding siya, kumuha ka ng dugo or anything. Di ba, napaka ano naman yan, napaka-risky. And at the same time, dapat isa sa ating, educate them that they have to take full responsibility. It should not be something na sarili lang nila isipin, kundi the people around them. Yes, comment on that.
Actually, when we do the advocacy lectures, palaging, especially with healthcare workers, yun talaga yung palagi sinasabi na they should tell us, we need to force them to tell us, but what we are saying is that ang problema kasi natin currently is the stigma is still very high. No? Patients still are not comfortable disclosing their status because they don't know how healthcare workers actually would react. We still have a lot of cases wherein the doctors would say something derogatory if they reveal that they are engaging in this high-risk behavior. No? So I think, and we still have doctors that are quite in the old pa yung mindset nila. I think this actually facilitates patients from withholding certain facts. No? So I think, as mentioned by Dr. Debbie, one of the reasons why patients are now going out and coming to the facilities is when they see that we don't judge them. We're there to help them, and whatever information they can provide us, it really is needed not just for the doctor's protection, but also to help them get better. I think yun talaga yung paradigm shift na makikita natin ngayon, that patients would understand that whatever they tell the doctor is actually for them and not for the doctor's consumption.
And also confidentiality.
Yes, and that also should be emphasized. Yes.
I think the doctors will have to be encouraged also to be more open to discussing with their patients, no, na, ay ma'am, meron po ba kayong ganito? O heto yun. And you have to explain to them why you're asking these questions. And on the side of it, di ba dapat sa DOH, lahat ng mga private facilities who has testing for HIV should have an HIV counselor.
Yes.
Di ba?
Yes.
Kasi para from the very start pa lang, pre-testing pa lang, may counseling ka na. Kailangan may approval, may consent na tayo doon, di ba? So let's talk about the progression of the disease. So supposing nga, tuloy-tuloy yung kanyang gamot. So it's not going to be cured, right?
Yes, it's not going to be cured. Kaya nga when we were still saying na the goal of the UNH was actually to eliminate AIDS by 2030, it presumes that all our treatment are in place and are working, because when we do have ART in place and we treat all the HIV infected, they don't progress to AIDS. So our goal talaga is not to cure HIV for now, no?
But to stop the progression.
To stop the progression, and we can actually eliminate AIDS, no? Because AIDS is a terminal part, no?
Yes.
If you don't get treatment, AIDS actually would be at the inevitable end of HIV infection. So it's not a cure, but our treatment talaga is very effective, that a lot of people right now are living 20, 30 years post-infection, no? Post-infection, when they get treatment, actually we're seeing a lot of old people na they're infected, and it's quite heartwarming to see na effective talaga yung gamot. Kaya it's heartbreaking when you see people.
And we are doing the viral load testing now because it's quite expensive and it's now available for free.
Viral load testing, ha? Libre.
Yeah,
Alam mo ba ang mahal-mahal ng doktora?
So Department of Health provided us.
So DOH offers it for free.
And we are happy with the result. We have the 94% na.
Ang galing. Yes, doktora.
Ganon din. It's really to make sure that patients are encouraged really to take the medicines, no? And I'd also like to comment na importante din na we also train our service providers, hindi lang kaming nasa HIV care facility, kasi like for example, primary care physicians, mga general practitioners, or even consultants, they need also to be informed about the HIV, kasi importante na from their end, magsisimula yung high index of suspicion.
Yes.
And it's may tendency kasi tayo minsan na doktor talaga tayo eh. Iba yung hindi lumalabas yung pagka-counselor natin. Yung sa HIV, kailangan talaga yung counseling side na ipalabas siya.
Ang mga doctors ngayon, sa totoo lang, which is actually sometimes nakakalungkot, they fail to take the time to talk to their patients. Diba? Parang nagmamadali si doktor. 5 minutes lang sa clinic kasi may ibang clinic, ibang pasyente na. But I think we should be able to revive that. So, aming mga tagapagpanood who are doctors, no, please take the time to talk to the patient. History taking pa rin, di ba? And then, ang counseling, kasi naniniwala sila sa atin eh. Meron silang attachment sa atin dahil naniniwala sila. Dahil you are a doctor, di ba? So, let's talk now about government programs, mukhang kumpleto ang programa ng government when it comes to HIV. Kasi libre nga ang viral load testing libre nga ang gamot, libre lahat, no? So what more do we expect from the government in terms of our fight against HIV?
Speaking for the government, no, actually we're very happy with the new law 11166 because it now accepts the fact that government can only do so much and really need to partner with other organizations, our local government units, community-based organization, faith-based organizations because the government is quite parang elepante, no? Ang hirap, ang tagal gumalaw when it moves, but these partners around us actually can do a lot of things in a very short span of time, no? So we're very happy in Region 7 that we have a lot of partners already engaged, and that is actually the direction now of our program is to engage a lot of grassroots partners, no? Especially community-based organization. As mentioned by Dr. Debbie, when we have peer educators, no, people who are like them, it's easy for them to relate and easy for them to open up in terms of what are the risk behaviors, what are their problems in terms of accessing treatment, because government actually is quite mahirap siyang gumalaw, but we now accept the fact that we have partners that can do a lot more. So ngayon, ang direction ng government natin is to engage a service delivery network wherein it's not only focused to government networks but also to private partners.
Yes,
no?
private partnership ngayon, di ba?
Private partnership. Now we have, for our treatment hubs, we have 13 treatment hubs, 2 of them are private hospitals. So that actually tells us that it gives the patients a lot more option, unlike before, no? In 2017, we only had 3 facilities for the entire region offering HIV treatment. No? But now we have 13 and we're planning to open up more facilities so that patients can actually choose. I think that's the direction of the government right now. Engage a lot more partners, be open and be more coordinating in terms of services, because when services are not available in the government, they definitely are available in other partners, especially our private sector.
In other words, accessibility, no?
Yes.
Isa din yun Tapos, affordability, di ba? Kasi heto, andyan na yan talaga Kung baga, ikaw na nga lang, lalapit ka na nga lang, andun na talaga yon. So, yes.
Parang, and also we're not just facility based because we also have we do outreach. We go to the communities, we tie up with youth groups, we look for them where they hang out, their congregation, where they meet. So we go there and we offer the services. We work even past midnight, no, just to get to this population.
So grabe yung dedication and commitment.
So we're not facility based. We have a facility, we provide the services, but we also go out of our way and really look for them and offer the service. It's one way also of marketing the services we have in the facility. We inform them that please come to the clinic. No, we provide the services anytime, no, Monday to Friday, and then at the same time offer the services where they are.
Pero ang confirmatory natin sa SACL pa rin ba?
Yes,
Sa RITM?
we have still SACL.
Aren't we planning to put one here in the Department of Health? Diba? PCR.
Actually, we have the RIVDA, no, the Rapid HIV Diagnostic Algorithm. No, it's faster than the regular Western blot that we are using for same day. That's our goal, the same day testing. No, you get screened, you get reactive, you get RIVDA. At the end of the day, you'll know your confirmatory result. No? So it's faster for us to get treatment. And Cebu City, fortunately, was one of the pilot sites for LIVDA, and it really pulled up our adherence, no, enrollment to treatment. No? So when they know they're confirmed immediately or within a short span of time, it's easier talaga.
Kasi remember, pagpapadala natin ng 2 weeks.
1 month na ngayon.
Ngayon,
1 month, yes. So batch.
Minsan na 2 buwan pa nga di ba?
And you lose the patient.
And then you lose the patient.
And we are moving also towards a one-stop shop. Yeah, because in our experience, if we refer our clients to another facility, we lost them. So that's why we are trying to offer everything to them. Once they are diagnosed, then treatment is there.
Confirmation is there. Kasi yun na nga, nawawala sila di ba? So I'd like to thank the 3 of you, no? Ang ganda ng ating discussion. Let me just ask the 3 of you, is there life after HIV? And that will be your closing shot to our viewers. Yes, we'll start with Doc Philip.
Life with HIV, no. I think people just need to understand that HIV is just a diagnosis. It's not a moral judgment, no. So the only way for you to know if you're HIV positive is to get tested. No? You don't look like you have HIV, but the only way is to get tested. So know your status and get tested so that once you have HIV, you're diagnosed to have HIV, your life is not ending, but you open another chapter of your life.
Okay, what about
Oh,
Dr. Deb?
definitely, there's life after the diagnosis of HIV infection. In fact, I've read somewhere that the lifespan of an HIV person taking the antiretroviral drugs is about the same as someone who is not infected with HIV. So it doesn't stop there. No, life goes on, move on, and there are a lot of people who can help you. So know your status, get tested, and then go for treatment.
Okay, Dr. Aurelia?
This is my usual message once we provide post-test counseling for our clients, that whatever your dreams, if you get HIV positive, you can continue with your dreams, because we have the medication that you will stay healthy, and then we have the law that would protects you from discrimination, so you can continue doing your job, you can continue going to school, and you can have the promotion. If you want to go,
have a family.
you can have a family, and if you want to go abroad, you can still go abroad. So definitely there is life after HIV.
Yes, dear viewers, napakaganda po ang sabi ng ating mga panelists here who are actually the best there is in terms of HIV, knowing about the disease and the disease process itself. There is always life after the diagnosis, but to our community and to the family members and to those who are living with HIV/AIDS, remember, compassion, acceptance, and support is what they need from all of us. So even in Joshua 1 verse 9, it says, "Be strong and have courage. Do not be afraid, for the Lord God is with you." Magandang araw po sa ating lahat.